Another thing, you do not have to be positive in every single moment. I'm literally seeing a vision of somebody stepping up to like the plate on like baseball, right? And like the hitting, right? And they're like, okay, this is my one chance. I gotta get this right the first time, right? Life, first of all, the universe has a funny way of being like, hey, I'm gonna kick your ass. Just, you're on the up and up. I'm gonna kick your ass down again. Sometimes. And in those moments, you know what I mean? If you get knocked down, it doesn't mean that you're not worthy or you're not skilled enough or you're not talented enough to get that shit done. Whatever it is, doesn't have to be a baseball plate. Use a more real life example. Let's say that you have social anxiety and you want to actively get out into the crowd more, or say you're in the crowd but you want to show up in a different way in the crowd, right? Let's say there's an event coming up and you're like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. You get there and you're like, holy shit, what the hell is going on? I can't do this. You know what I mean? It's way harder than I thought. That's actually indicative that you're actually doing something very big, very huge. One of the reasons being is because when you're pushing your boundaries, when you're pushing your comfort zone, trying to become somebody that you haven't previously been, right? All of the stuff, you're also inciting yourself to have more awareness that this is of the self that you do not want to be. Does that make sense? So every time you step into a new body, right? You step outside who you've been, you get to see everything you've been, right? And then that makes you be like, holy shit. And that's what you're experiencing. That's what you're perceiving. That's why we get I'm speaking from personal experience too. That's why I get social anxiety. When I'm like, okay, I'm actively trying to step out of my social anxiety. And in those moments, you still are practicing. You're in the game, but you're still practicing, and you're still building. It's really about the confidence. It's really about building the confidence, not necessarily the skill, because we already got the skill. We were born with the skill, right? But it's about building the confidence in the remembrance of that skill, right? And my other main point that I wanted to get with this video is we don't have to wait till those big events to happen to change our lives, right? And to change the outcome or whatever we're trying to change. Because time is weird and doesn't actually exist. It just is a spiral and like a repeating pattern from the present moment. Like the future is a repeat pattern of this present moment, right? So if you decide right now, you're on your deck, you're in the woods, you're in your bedroom, and you're like, I'm gonna practice talking to people. I'm gonna practice delving into this anxiety. I'm gonna do it. This could go for any example, right? That present moment is going to help you and dictate what your future looks like. That means whenever you go into the mall, doesn't have to be a big event, whenever you go outside, that present moment, the skill you built there is going to repeat and ripple out and give you new experiences that entail the reality that you wanted to create, which is less social anxiety. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. It sounds a little bit I hope that it makes sense. I'll use a visual to help describe it. We have the center, right? We have the dot in the middle. I'm actually gonna use my lip because it's a big fat line. We have the center right here, right? Anything we do here, anything at all, anything we think, feel, say, breathe, move, anything, will come back around. And when it comes back around, like the spiral effect I talked about in other videos, like life and time is just a spiral that goes up and up and up and up, right? So let's say the center's here, it'll come back around and get here, and then it'll come back around and get here, right? In each moment, there's going to be a bunch of different scenarios and energies that will have the same energy that you created in the present moment, but look like different things. I hope that makes sense. So basically, if you think, I'm gonna be happy today, you're happy, you're happy, you're happy. You have another moment to think, okay, I'm gonna be sad. You're sad, you're sad, you're sad. You know what I mean? And each way that like this energy, this frequency that you put out is gonna be, it's gonna show up in different ways. You might meet people who are really happy. You might meet people that are really sad. You might, like an experience might actually hit you that causes you to feel really happy. An experience might hit you that causes you to feel really sad. So with that being said, this went from my take on mental health to quantum physics. But you know, what's the difference at this point anymore? Thanks for sticking around, and thanks for listening. And yeah, I'm just here. I'm not an expert, but I'm an expert of myself, so I just speak my personal experience, and if people, you know, resonate with it, great job. You're not alone. Me too. All right, peace.